Hello.
And welcome to the Delusional Boyfriend Book Club, where if shipping One Piece characters is wrong, I don't want to be right. I'm Courtney, and I'll be your host, and I'm joined today by Wolfgang, my husband, and we are covering One Piece Volume 3 of the manga, and I am so excited to go over this. We've been rewatching the first season of One Piece, so it's really fun to kind of line up the anime with the manga. We also just got back from the bar, so excuse us for being a tiny bit tipsy, but Wolf's been gone for 3 days, and it's really fun to have him back. So, in this volume of One Piece, we meet a brand new character of our crew, which is Usopp, and we also finish out our fight with Buggy. So, Wolfgang, can you take us through the events, kind of starting where we left off with the last manga?
Sure. So for the most part, this one begins with Buggy talking to Luffy about his hat because Buggy recognizes the hat and he kind of is like, "Where did you get that hat?" It reminds me a lot of Redhead or Red Hair. And what ends up happening is they fight for a long time until we get kind of a recap or kind of a flashback of back in the day when Buggy and Shanks were on a crew, and you kind of get a little bit more of the devil fruit powers and kind of what is going on with them.
And this is also kind of my first important BL ship. So, Shanks, of course, from volume one, is the person who made Luffy fall in love with piracy or pirating, I guess. What's the word? Piracy or pirating?
Piracy, sure.
Piracy? So either way, Luffy learns from red-haired Shanks that being a pirate and living your life on the ocean is like this beautiful, glamorous thing. And when we meet Buggy and Buggy recognizes the straw hat on Luffy, we see that Buggy and Shanks had a big history. And in that history, it basically involved them working as like the cabin mates on a ship that somebody else is running, and Buggy gets the devil fruit that this ship has acquired. And he
Hmm.
knows that the devil fruit is worth millions of berries. And in One Piece, berries is dollars or some kind of currency, right?
Same
Right? So basically, they have a devil fruit on ship, and Buggy knows that if you eat the devil fruit, you will not be able to swim anymore. And he understands that there's a lot of treasure at the bottom of the ocean, so he doesn't actually want to eat the devil fruit. He wants to sell it.
That's his big idea is like he's going to become famous by getting the treasure on the ocean because it's more plentiful than the stuff on the
The
surface
land.
on the land, which
Who knows?
that's just his idea. Yeah.
So he gets the devil fruit and he convinces everybody that he ate it, even though what he really ate was like a normal pineapple. And they all think, oh my gosh, Buggy can't swim anymore and the devil fruit is gone. Meanwhile, Buggy has the devil fruit. He plans on eating it. And in this flashback, we see that Shanks kind of interrupts him while he's secretly conspiring to steal a treasure map and steal the devil fruit and sell it. Shanks sneaks up on him, and Buggy has to shove the devil fruit in his mouth in order to hide it. And then he accidentally swallows it. And at the same time, he accidentally throws his treasure map overboard. So he blames Shanks for this loss. And he says that Shanks is the whole reason he no longer has a treasure map and the reason that he accidentally ate the devil fruit and can no longer swim. So he's really resentful of Shanks. But I feel like there is something else going on there. So while Buggy is fighting Luffy, Luffy is talking about how he's looking for Shanks, and Buggy recognizes that hat. And Buggy makes a point to destroy the hat by he has a the devil fruit that he ate was a chop fruit. So
Yep.
basically he can disassemble his body, and he does like a chop harpoon where he sends his hand into Luffy's hat and rips the hat apart and damages it. And
It has knives. He sends his hand, which has knives in it, into the hat.
yes, so he ruins the hat, and you get this feeling that how he feels about red haired Shanks might be extremely personal. And he says, red haired Shanks, stole something important from me and ruined my life because he made me accidentally eat the devil fruit. And Luffy says, you mean he saved you? It sounds like you fell overboard after eating that devil fruit, and Shanks dove in after you, saved you from drowning. You're the one who stole the devil fruit. You're the one who stole the treasure map. None of this is Shank's fault.
He's blaming his inability to swim now because he ate a devil fruit on Shanks and the millions of berries he would have made by not eating this fruit.
It's hilarious, and also Oda does talk about how he originally named his character Boogie, like Boogie Wonderland, and that he found there was another character named Boogie somewhere in pop culture, so he had to change it to Buggy, and he really didn't think twice about that change. So it's kind of fun to go through these manga that were written in like the 90s and hear Oda talk about like, yeah, most of these decisions I made about these iconic characters were just off the cuff. I didn't realize they were going to be famous forever. So it's kind of fun to see that Buggy was a little bit of like a happy accident. I'm not sure everyone knew he was going to be as important as he is to the plot. And I'm kind of mad at you because you've always liked Buggy, and I didn't realize he's like a true villain. I thought he redeemed himself and became a good guy at some point. He doesn't. He's like a bad guy.
Episode 500, manga number like 47. He redeems himself, so it's gonna be a while.
But he stays a villain even until this point, current in the series, like 1100 episodes into the anime and 150 manga in or whatever we're at. Buggy is still he's still a villain, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the perfect enemies to lovers setup where Buggy is the villain and Shanks is a hero. And they have this tumultuous past on a ship where they were both ship hands. And Buggy is really resentful for an accident where Shanks didn't mean to take his ability to swim away. In fact, he only saved him from drowning. Like Shanks seems to really care maybe about Buggy. And Buggy is a little bit resentful that Shanks is inherently better at fighting than him and smarter than him. And so it's an enemies to lovers setup that I really like. And I immediately knew I was going to ship these two characters from watching the anime. And then as we got into the manga and there's panels of them drawn when they're younger, I was still on board with this ship. Absolutely. I think that Buggy and Shanks have unresolved feelings for each other. What do you think?
I mean, so Shanks views Buggy as a friend, and that's the thing, is that like he views him when they came up on pirating together because they were on the same crew. Shanks is Buggy's first friend on the crew because they're the same age. Everyone else was older than them on the boat, and it's one of those things where you'll understand more and more because Shanks will kind of drop a few lines about Buggy and kind of talk about some of the adventures they had, and then Buggy will kind of talk about some of the adventures they had. And it's funny how you don't like Buggy because he's a villain, but he's not the most serious villain, and he's not a good villain. Like he's not powerful. He's just like one of these guys that's kind of goofy, is easily beaten by Luffy, but also when it comes to Shanks, he's just an individual that like can't get over the fact that he's the one that messed up. And so he has a hard time.
Taking responsibility.
Exactly.
And definitely it feels like he is resentful for Shanks because Shanks is inherently a little bit smarter, a little bit more agile, a little better at his job.
Has a better crew.
Shanks never ate a devil fruit. So like he is more successful than Buggy without having taken that cheat code. So I think Buggy's mad about that.
He might even have, like, at this point, I'd have to go back and look, but I think that Shanks might have a wanted poster while Buggy does not. And that's
a competition between the two that definitely feeds, like if you're a heated rivalry girl, this is a rivalry between two pirates where they both want to be better, and Shanks is just naturally better. He's not really competing with Buggy, but Buggy is competing with Shanks, so it's a one-ended rivalry. I think it's really cute. And when we join back up with Luffy and Buggy, Luffy is already beating the shit out of Buggy, and he's like 10 years 12 years younger than Buggy. He's pulling on his cheeks. And I asked Wolfgang, I said, why doesn't he just throw Buggy into the ocean and drown him? Why don't we just kill Buggy right here, right now? And you said that that's not how One Piece works. It's not about killing the villains. It's about letting this all play out, right?
For another 500 episodes, it's not. It's about letting it just play out and just being like, it's a fun adventure show for a while. And that's the thing, is that like it gets a lot of flack and criticism for hundreds of episodes because no one really dies. They just get knocked out or they get tied up and they get sent to jail. And it's not like you never see someone actually die for a while.
And it would be really easy to just kill Buggy right here and be done with his plot line. Like Nami ties up half his body. Luffy is pulling on his cheeks and knocking the shit out of him, and he keeps
tickling his toes, he separates, like stubbing his toes,
I loved all
hitting
of
him with the balls. Like,
this whole fight scene between Luffy and Buggy was so funny because Buggy has a chop chop power, so his body like flies into different parts. So Buggy goes after Nami, and Nami is stealing Buggy's treasure.
the top half.
And so the top half of him is over here fighting Nami, and the bottom half of him is fighting Luffy. So Luffy kicks him in the nuts, then takes his shoes off and tickles his toes, and then stubs his toes. And it's like literally hysterical. And I feel like if more anime had fight scenes where there was all this like comedy and one-liners within the action scenes, more girls would like the shonen anime that's just all fighting. And I definitely felt like this was so entertaining. I think that volume 3, even though it's kind of all action and all fighting, it's hysterical because we get a ton of these characters' personalities. So
Did you like? Can I a follow up question to that? Because that is interesting. Did you like reading it more, or did you like because like she's seen One Piece these episodes, and she's now read it. Which one did you like more?
I definitely felt like this fight scene I did not grasp as much in the anime because it's happening so quickly. So for example, Buggy, his body flies into several different parts, and in the anime, I didn't notice that Nami ties up his torso and his thighs and everything. So when Buggy flies back together, he's this little miniature man with half of his body parts missing. And in the manga, it's really fun because that's very clear. You can see what Nami's doing and you can kind of pause on those panels and laugh out loud. And we were sitting at a brewery reading this, and I was getting more and more tipsy reading these panels, and it was just like cracking me up. Whereas in the anime, that's a 4-minute sequence. And if you blink, you'll miss it. So it is very fun to go back and visit this. It's also hard because I restarted season 1 of the anime to try to kind of follow along while I'm reading. And so as I'm reading, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just watch this or did I just read this? So that can be a little bit tough, but I will say it's fun to be reading and to be able to slow down and laugh out loud at a panel. Whereas in the anime, again, there's so much going on that I think if you look down at your phone or you walk away to get a glass of water or whatever, you'll just kind of miss the whole point of the fight. So it is a little easier for me to ingest these fight scenes when it's written down.
Editing TikToks does not help while watching
Honey,
anime.
I have to do what I have to do. And the Yowie TikToks just won't wait. But it is nice when I'm reading because I have to put down my phone and I have to put down everything. So it's fun because I get a lot more details. In fact, I don't think that there's definitely in the anime, Luffy kicks Buggy in the nuts, and that's very funny. But I don't think in the anime they show Luffy taking Buggy's clown shoe off and stubbing his toes on the ground. I think that's just in the manga. So that was a detail that I thought was super cute. And also kind of kinky. Like he takes his shoe off and starts tickling Buggy's feet. And in a way that was like kind of spicy to me, and I really liked it. So it was fun to read that. And then after he basically kicks Buggy's ass, they steal the treasure. Nami has half the treasure in her hands, and Luffy leaves the other half of the treasure back with the villagers. They get in Buggy's boat because all of his men are playing dead. They have seen the rubber man in action and they don't want to fight him.
It's like a small dinghy that they take two small dinghies of buggies.
Yes, and they've got like unfortunately Buggy's flag.
A dinghy is a small boat.
I feel like that's mansplaining to my audience that definitely knows what a dinghy is. Stupid man. So, anyways, we have them flying off in their boats. They have half the treasure. Nami is super irritated with Luffy for leaving the other half of the treasure back, but Luffy says their whole village was destroyed. They're going to need some money. And then Nami almost like drowns him. And they show up on another island where they meet a man who's stuck in a treasure chest. And it's kind of a funny pit stop. I feel like we never meet that man again, or
no, you'll never meet him again. And this is
random.
Yeah, it's interesting because for the thousands of episodes, the 1,000 episodes you have, 1,400, 500, whatever. There's sometimes little one-off adventures that will happen just for one episode, and that's exactly, or in this case, one chapter, and that's exactly what this is. It's just an offshoot, little fun, kind of like take a break from the main story and like get a little bit more of the world building, if that makes sense. Kind of like this guy, because the whole point of this thing is that there was a pirate crew and this guy was a young man at the time, He was a deckhand, and everyone got off on this island to go find treasure because they had a map. And he climbs up this like mountain and he finds these treasure chests. And instead of telling his crew that they're up there, he's like, I can just take this all for myself, kind of like Buggy. And he ends up grabbing a chest and falling off the mountain and falls into the chest. And this is where I have a hard time being 6'5". So he falls into the chest and is stuck in the chest for like 10 years. His back, I mean, like he literally shortened himself by like 4 feet. His back must just be killing him for like 5 years just in this thing.
And so Luffy, so they come to the island, they find this man in a treasure chest. They find all these weird animals
Mhm.
that are basically hybrid animals, like a pig mixed with a lion. And that comes back in One Piece several times, where there's animal experimentation and definitely some like biological fusing of different species. So I feel like that is relevant, but this man in the treasure chest is not relevant. So Luffy goes up to help him find those treasure chests that he'd seen 20 years ago. And Luffy says, if you've been guarding these treasure chests for 20 years and that's your whole life's dream and your life's mission, I'll just go up and check on the treasure chests for you. So he Gum Gum rockets up there. And then once he gets to the treasure chests, they're all empty. And they sit Nami and the guy stuck in the treasure chest who they just met are like, throw the treasure down. And Luffy says, there's no treasure. The treasure boxes are empty. And the guy who's been stuck on this island for 20 years, whose crew abandoned him, he says basically, I'm relieved that they're empty because I've become quite fond of my responsibility here on the island. I like watching over all these strange animals and I like being stuck in my little treasure box. And I'm pretty happy here. I don't need any treasure. I kind of just want to stay and be a guardian for the island. So that's very sweet because we see how people's motivations change, where maybe you were selfish at the beginning and karma or life circumstances has taught you that being selfish isn't the most important thing in the world. And I think a lot of characters are going to go through that arc and that
Mhm.
growth. So after they meet him and leave him, they go to the other side of the island or an island nearby and they show up so hungry. And it's Nami, Luffy, and Zoro. These are our first three crew members. And when they get to this island, they go to the restaurant and want to eat some meat because Luffy, as we're finding out, is constantly hungry. I think he has a lot of energy burnt from becoming a rubber man, right?
Yeah, there's, excuse me, there's a lot of weird food things that happen in One Piece. So like meat gives you energy because it's like that's like it's meat, so it makes you strong. Like
As a vegetarian, I just like cannot relate. And Wolfgang barely, he's 6'5" and he barely eats meat because I don't eat meat. So it's very funny because they're constantly looking for meat and it's kind of like looking for gasoline for your car or something. Like they know that they can't get through the ocean without meat. And
yeah, and like milk, and this won't come up for a while, but like they at one point they're gonna break their teeth. Like a few of the crew members, like they break their teeth because they have a really hard fight, and they drink milk, and literally like after drinking the cup of milk, their teeth just like come back,
regrow.
just regrow back into their body.
And
And
in the
even
first episode, we saw Luffy drinking milk because Shanks is making fun of him, saying that pirates would never drink milk.
Mhm.
But we do see that, of course, when you're stuck on the sea, it's really important that you have all different kinds of nutrients.
Yeah.
And having gone through the anime a little bit, we also see that there's some pirates who get scurvy. So food is very important. So they're stopping at this village and they get out to get some meat. And there is a pirate on the island named Usopp.
Captain Usopp.
Captain Usopp, and he has the Usopp Pirates, which is basically this teenager. Usopp's like 18 years old,
Mhm.
and he has a couple kids who are like 12 years old, three of them named Onion, Pepper, and
Carrot.
Carrot. Onion, Pepper, and Carrot. And they follow Usopp around and they all act like a pirate horde, even though they've never been on the sea. And every time Usopp sees a ship coming near the island, he basically runs around like Paul Revere and says, the pirates are coming, the pirates are coming. And most of the time he's joking and pulling everyone's leg, and they're sick of it. They're like totally sick of this boy crying wolf, right? And Usopp has never raised the alarm with any like necessity. It's always just kind of out of dramatics. So this time he sees Luffy and Zoro and Nami showing up and he tries to alert the island, and the island does not believe him that there's any pirates coming. And when these pirates do come, they're very nice. And of course, they just want to eat some meat. They introduce themselves to Usopp And Luffy says, I recognize you. You look just like a pirate I met named Yasop. And Yasop used to talk about his son named Usopp. Could that be you? And this is a very cute moment, basically, where we realize how small the world is in One Piece, where one pirate will pretty easily interact with another pirate because they're always on the move. So Yasop was this cutie father who abandoned his child and went on to the seas. I hate Yasop
He's not
because
that cute. I personally, he looks exactly like Usopp. So
he's a little cuter than Usopp.
if you,
Usopp is goofy. He has the biggest nose in the world.
yeah, I don't find Usopp very attractive. So if you're one of those girls that likes Usopp, then you'd like Yasop. But
I only like Usopp because of One Piece of Trash, the podcast where they do like fanfic and read it out loud. And there's a whole fanfic that they read in their first season where basically Usopp is a dom for Zoro. So I really liked meeting Usopp
it would never
in this
happen.
episode. It would never happen, but it was fun for me to imagine that. So basically, we meet Usopp, and his father has abandoned him, which is a touchy subject for me because, of course, I have, what do they call it? Anxious attachment. Like,
Sure.
I was abandoned by my father. So I really love Usopp in this, except for the difference is that I would never forgive a father for abandoning his children. But Usopp, he forgives his father for basically answering the call of the pirate's flag. And
Well, because he says in his words, he's a great honorable man. So he looks up to him as a great warrior, as in like the reason why he left is because he had to go fight for what he believed in. Therefore, he's a warrior. Therefore, that's the only reason he left Usopp. It's like him, like making an excuse for his father. Almost.
exactly. And then Luffy has met Yasop in the past, and Luffy says, "Oh my gosh, he never stopped talking about you. Even though he abandoned you, he told me all these stories about how much he loved his
He
son."
could shoot the whiskers off an ant. He's that good.
Yes.
He's
And
that good of a sniper.
I will say that, like, I was raised fatherless for no good reason. Wolfgang's dad was MIA a lot of the time because he was a Navy SEAL. So we're coming at this from two different perspectives where I don't kind of forgive Yasop.
I get it.
And Wolfgang's like, I forgive Yasop. Sometimes the ocean calls you and the sea calls you. So it's fun to see that. It's also fun to see that Usopp does not hold this against his father. And Luffy tells Usopp, your dad never stopped talking about you. Yes, he was addicted to being a pirate and he was addicted to, being on the sea and hunting for treasure, and he did abandon you for that, but he never stopped talking about you. And I bet you have inherited some of his skills. And we find out that Usopp has this sharpshooter skill that Yasop has. So his dad has become a famous pirate for being able to shoot the whiskers off an ant. So he can shoot anything, any target from however far. And Usopp is living on this island with these children following him, and he has a slingshot, and he can basically hit any target he's looking for. So he is useful in that way. But otherwise, he's very cowardly and he runs away from any real danger. He's very dramatic and he makes up lies about what's going on to get attention. He also has a girl in town who is very sickly. Her parents have died and she's living in a mansion. And Usopp is in love with this girl, Kaya. And we kind of get that right away. We also know because Luffy comes to this island and he meets Carrot and Onion and Pepper, and they all say, "Oh yeah, Usopp is our captain, but he's off lying to a girl named Kaya." And they all say, "Why would he be lying to a girl? That's not very nice." And they say, "No, it's very nice. Usopp is a talented liar, and his lies bring people happiness." And we find out that Usopp is spinning these tales to a sick girl who is being poisoned by her butler, by the way, who already killed her parents. So Usopp is entertaining her from her window, and the pirates need a bigger ship because they're on dinghies. So they go to Kaya and in her mansion, and they're hoping that she might have a bigger ship they can use. When they get there, they meet this butler, Claudador. Claudador has yaoi hands, and if you watch the anime and you read the manga, you'll see what I mean. His hands are massive, and they're kind of part of his power.
That's what yaoi hands mean. Big hands.
Yes, yaoi hands are like the proportions in yaoi are really off.
It's like my hand.
Exactly. So I guess the whole idea in yaoi is that if you have big hands, you have big feet. If you have big feet, you have a big dick, the connotation. So that's why we always draw these characters in yaoi with massive hands so that we can kind of connotate that they would have big dicks. So Claudador we meet, he's very hot in the anime. I really liked him in, like his visual appearance in the anime, even though you can tell he's a villain. I thought he was hot. In the manga, he's less hot. So Luffy
I didn't get that. I didn't. And that's so funny you said that because I see him as the exact same person, but maybe
in
it's
both.
yeah, but maybe it's his mannerism, and maybe that's why you thought he was a lot hotter.
No, in the anime you see him walking around and he's got like kind of that big dick strut, and I like that a little bit better. But then in the manga, he's kind of nerdy and I don't love him. So all of the pirates go to Kaya's house and they are trying to find Usopp, who is the captain of these pirates, and they're also trying to find Kaya so that they can ask her if she might have a ship that she can donate. When they get there, they gum rocket themselves over her fence and they find Usopp, who is sitting there spinning a yarn to her and trying to make her day by telling a fib and telling a story of his adventures on the sea, even though he's never been on the sea. And when they arrive, it's very kind of comically timed because Usopp is telling a story about people falling out of the sky, and then Luffy gum rockets them into the sky, and they fall into Kaya's yard, and it just kind of validates in Kaya's mind that Usopp's stories are true and real, and so she's kind of falling for him, and also, it gives her something to live for, having Usopp visit her and tell her these stories. Meanwhile, her butler is poisoning her slowly, trying to keep Usopp away from her, and these pirates have all just shown up asking her for a ship. She says, I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you a ship. If you're friends of Usopp, so I'll see what I can do. And at this point, Claudador
Mm-hmm.
interrupts and says, Kaya, you can't talk to these people. You're so sickly. It's going to make you more sick. So I have to protect you by getting everyone away from you. He kicks everyone off the property. And then we see the strangest man in the world arrive. And his name is Django. And do we ever see Django again?
Yep.
Okay, because this character, they keep calling him the strangest man in the world. And he kind of looks like a side character, but you feel he's important. For sure, right?
No, he's not important, but he. Okay, I mean, yeah, he has some importance. Let's a little bit of a spoiler. He eventually one day he will join the Navy, and he is one of those people that you will see him more with Kobe. And so because Kobe is joining the Navy, for some reason, and you don't get this whole thing with him, but like you don't get him joining the Navy, but like he actually decides to take his talents elsewhere and joins the Navy under Smoker's crew and then eventually under Colby's crew. And you'll see him, oh, maybe twice in the show and the manga more.
Do we see Claudador again? So Claudador is the
No.
butler of Kaya. He also was called Captain Kuro back in the day, and he owned his own pirate ship.
He was the cat pirate.
Ooh, the cat pirate.
Yeah, well, it'll become more apparent in the next book, but yes, he has a crew of feline-like individuals. That's kind of
Like cat boys?
well, yeah, that's like exactly cat boys. But they're not hot. They're like, yeah, it's a little.
That is very disappointing. Thank you so much.
They're kind of like anorexic and like bloated cat boys, so you kind of get all over, but you don't get like the nice muscular Zorro type cat boy. It's like a
No, I want like a femboy, like a cat boy that looks like me, but like a cat and a boy.
no.
No,
These are
sickly. They're like sickly.
these are like more like really ugly looking cat boys, and
Okay.
I don't want to use that word, but yeah, they're
No,
not.
this is Delusional Boyfriend Book Club. Some people are ugly, and we don't have to like them.
They're unattractive cat boys.
Okay, I'm not interested then.
They're bad guys in a crew.
So we have this kind of new character named Django coming onto the island, and everyone is talking about him because he's walking backwards. And he's walking backwards, and he's trying to meet.
He's like Michael Jackson, kind of like doing a moonwalk backwards the entire time.
Definitely modeled after Michael Jackson. He has like some hard glasses on, a weird goatee, and he's doing this moonwalk backwards. And he has a hypnotizing power where he basically says 1, 2, 3, Django. Is that it?
Yeah, well, he has this little
1, 2, Django or something like that. And so he goes to meet up with Captain Kuro, aka Claudador, aka Kaya's butler. And Luffy and Usopp have been kicked off of the property and are walking around the cliffs when they see the butler down on the shore with this hypnotist. And the hypnotist says one to Django, and Luffy falls off the cliff because he's been hypnotized and he falls on his head. And Usopp's watching this thinking Luffy just died, but Luffy's a rubber man, so we don't have to worry. And Luffy is knocked out, yes, but Usopp is watching and he hears everything Claudador said, everything that Django said, and they're planning to kill Kaya. And if they kill Kaya, Usopp's one and only love is dead. Also, we have no hope of getting a new ship. It's going to be very dramatic. And they look up at the cliff and they say, "Should we kill Usopp?" And Claudador says, "Nope. Nobody in the village would believe him anyways."
The whole the whole plan here for Claudador is he is tired of being a pirate. He eventually 3 years ago kind of came to this island and decided that he was going to blend in as a butler and kind of work at this mansion and make it so one day he could kind of like assassinate the owners of the mansion and take their fortune and be a pirate, but not one that has to be on the run anymore. So what happens is that he gets in a 3 years ago he gets in a fight with a navy ship, captures one of the navy guys, dresses him up like himself, and then Django convinces the guy with his hypnotism powers that he is Captain Claudador. They turn this man in. The Navy executes this man, taking a pirate out, and everyone thinks that Claudador is dead.
Yeah, so he's like basically dead man walking,
Yep.
and he has a new leaf that he can turn over. And he has justified killing Kaya and killing her parents basically so that he can take over the mansion, take over their wealth, and be the leader of this island. And in his mind, that's his way of like reclaiming the next half of his life.
And what he really doesn't want is he doesn't want to keep living his life looking over his shoulder.
Yes.
Because he was a famous pirate that had wanted posters, had a bounty on him. But his whole problem is that every single time that he got more famous and got a bigger bounty, the Navy came. And so they would try to fight him, try to kill him. And he's like, I love doing what I do, but I don't want to be the face of danger, and I don't want to be
sought after
the whole time by the Navy. I'd rather just not look over my shoulder, have all this money, have all this power, inherit an entire town secretly, but be kind of undercover as a butler.
And you would kind of be on his side, except for the fact that he has tricked this girl, this little girl, into believing that he is her protector. And he is, I think, poisoning her slowly, has killed both of her parents, and keeping the only friend she has away from her, all in an attempt to isolate her from her community, kill her, and steal all of her inheritance. So he's definitely like a villain's villain. He is as bad as they come. And we have our, Usopp, who is in love with her, watching all of this, knowing that the plan is going to be put into action. And then we have Luffy knocked out at the bottom of the cliff. So that's kind of where we end this anime,
That's where it ends.
is with this knowledge that
It's Luffy just passed out on the bottom of this cliff
snoring. And it is cute because we have Zoro, who's been really badly injured in the last volume. He keeps falling asleep because he's trying to recover from his injuries. Nami is counting her treasure somewhere. Like, everyone is kind of not on their A game, except for Usopp, who is really worried about Kaya, and he knows what's going on. And now we know, especially from the anime, that he's going to be tasked with getting the crew together to fight Captain Kuro, aka a Claudador, and make sure that the town knows he's not a good guy. He's not this nice butler that he's always been trying to sell himself as. He's really a villain, and he is going to take advantage of everyone and kill this very sweet townsgirl.
And he's going to try to convince the town to no success.
Yes. So it is a cliffhanger, pun intended. Luffy's fallen off the cliff, and now we have a cliffhanger, and we are going into the next volume wondering what will happen. I have had a lot of fun in this arc just because we finally got Nami on the crew. And then also we've met Usopp, and Usopp is going to be one of the very main characters on the crew. And I think it's cool that for a cowardly character who is like a crybaby and kind of useless, he is the fourth member of this crew. So he's, even before Sanji enters the crew, he is core to the membership. And I think that's cool just because Nami and Zoro are fearless. They're absolutely fearless, but Usopp is different. He is a liar and he spins these tales and he has a big, rich imagination,
He's not brave.
but he's not brave at all. And the thing is that all the things he brings to the table kind of outweigh the fact that he's not brave.
Mhm.
And Luffy sees that. And Luffy sees in him, maybe because he knows his dad, Yasop, or something, but he sees potential in Usopp right away. And Usopp loves Kaya so much that we're going to see pretty quickly that if he's fighting for something he loves, his cowardice and his you know, all of that fear fades away in the face of being a protector of something he loves. And I really love that in a man because to be honest, like we're all cowardly and we're all scared of shit in this world. But do we step up to the plate when it really matters? And Usopp does every time. And he might be a little bit of a liar, but when it comes down to facing true danger, he's always going to go toe to toe and man up and face his fears. And I really love that about him. So it was fun to finally get him on the crew in volume 3 and start to piece together our main core people. Did you like this volume?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fast. Well, a lot of these ones, you get a lot of background, but also they're a little bit faster because there's a lot of action and stuff like that. So I mean, I like this volume. It's good.
It's good. And we are definitely just trying to we're trying to assemble our main crew. So it's a little bit fast paced. Like we're on this island getting Usopp's backstory and meeting Kaya and all these villains. But the main point of this is that we're meeting Usopp, and Usopp, who is normally cowardly, he is going to become part of this crew. So that is the main point of the story, is that we've met a new member. Also, the point of the story is that we do have Nami on the crew, and Nami has quite a bit of knowledge about navigation, and she's starting to introduce them to the concept. They know about the Grand Line, which is basically part of the geography of this world. There's also the Red Line, and Nami has a really good photographic knowledge of maps. So she is able to tell Zoro and Luffy where they're headed, what the goal is, even though, Zoro and Luffy know they want to get to the Grand Line and they know they want to conquer it, but without any knowledge of geography, they're not going to be able to accomplish that. So it's very cool that in this volume, Nami has come on board. And spoiler alert, Nami has her own intentions and she hates pirates. So she's not quite
We'll
dedicated and committed to them yet.
we'll get there eventually.
We'll get there eventually, and she will be a pirate. Like, she'll be a real pirate to her core eventually. But it is fun to see them come together for their own kind of selfish reasons. And then after a while, it's less selfish and it's more about supporting your friends and being there because you made a commitment to them that you would help them achieve their dreams and they're going to help you achieve your dreams. So it's quite cute. And this is only volume 3, but we have 4 of our main crew members already assembled of the 10 we know we're going to meet. So that was quite fun. Who is your delusional boyfriend from this volume? Buggy. I'll remind you, Shanks was your first delusional boyfriend.
Okay.
Buggy was your second. Who is your third? Who is volume 3?
Thanks for reminding me. That's a good track record. Probably Yasop.
Oh, and yes,
I'll just choose someone random.
he's a deadbeat. He's a deadbeat father. Fuck that.
No, and a lot of people won't agree with that.
I don't agree with that.
No, and that's perfectly fine. I mean,
He's
just
kind of hot though.
yeah, I mean, you just don't see him enough. That's the thing is that you gotta sometimes you gotta choose while you can, because a lot of Shanks's crew is kind of a mystery, and this is kind of the first time that you start to get a connection between a deeper connection between just them being friends, but between Luffy and Usopp, and it being a small ocean or a small world, and you get this connection where they understand each other just based off of a pirate life, which is a little bit different than how Nami and Zoro came to be in the picture, because
They don't have respect for the pirate, the
Mhm.
inherent pirate soul that you have to be on the sea.
Yeah.
Zoro's here to be the best swordsman. Nami's here because she's a thief. But Yasop and Luffy definitely are here because they love the culture of being a pirate and they think that that is worthwhile, giving your life to that kind of lifestyle is honorable in a way. So I see that, but I also hate a deadbeat father. Like I
Well,
fucking hate a deadbeat
well, yeah,
father.
no, it's one of those things where I can't remember if you hear this now, but Usopp's mom is actually very happy about Yasop like leaving because he's a sniper, so he has a lot of guns around, and for raising a child, it's not the best decision. But also, I understand that he's a deadbeat, but also he's one of those dudes that, like you said, he every single chance he gets in the story, and it's a little bit deadbeatish, but when he's drunk specifically, he talks about his son quite a bit.
It's so
And
fucking annoying actually to me because when you talk to my deadbeat dad, who is a deadbeat, if you talk to him, he'll be like, "Oh my god, my daughter's so beautiful." And he'll go on and on about me, a person he's met 3 times, and it's very creepy. And it's just like, "Oh, you actually have never spent time with this person, but when you're drunk, you're going to talk about." Ugh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I love that you're able to like Yasop because you aren't bitter and jaded, but fuck Yasop. Like actually fuck Yasop. My delusional boyfriend in this episode is Usopp, and it's funny because you say like Usopp's not cute, whatever. In this episode, you see what Usopp has done. Usopp has absolutely fallen in love with a woman and kind of dedicated his whole life to putting on a brave front for not only the Usopp pirates, who are these young kids, and trying to teach them courage, even when he doesn't really have courage. He's just faking it till he makes it. And then also putting on a front to Kaya. Usopp has no family. He's like been abandoned. He has made the Usopp pirates as his family.
yeah, I think his mother died. If I'm not mistaken.
And so what he's done is like put on this brave face, and everybody he encounters, even if he's just telling a story, he is using his imagination to brighten people's life. And that is beautiful. And then on top of that, when he's confronted with this butler who keeps kicking him out of Kaya's house, he punches the butler in the face and he realizes that it's Captain Kuro and that he has this horrible reputation and he's really scary. And he's like, maybe I shouldn't have punched him in the face. But the thing is, when it comes down to it, Usopp is going to do what's right and he is going to protect people even if he's scared. And so he sees Django, the strangest man alive, and he doesn't run and hide. In fact, his first thought is I'm scared, and his second thought is if I'm scared, I should make sure the people I love don't get more scared than me. And so he goes out to protect them. And so this
He's one of those guys that he's like I'm a brave man, but his legs are shaking.
yes.
So like, and it's
And
like
he's crying.
yeah, and it's like a cartoon like Scooby Doo like legs quaking shake.
It's just like Scooby Doo. He's a coward, but he's always there
That and that's
for his
and
friends.
that is the most consistent character that there is. And it's funny because Usopp doesn't have devil fruit powers. He's just a good sniper. And
And
so
sniper, by sniper, we mean slingshot. Like his weapon is a
of choice,
slingshot.
he is technically a sniper, but his weapon of choice is a slingshot.
And to be frank, like every day he is showing up and climbing a tree for this girl and then just sitting outside her window and talking to her all day. And he's
Actually,
making silly jokes about like,
it's one thing I did want to point out is that in the anime specifically, he is climbing up a window and sitting in a tree in a branch. In the manga, it's ground floor. So
looking up.
he's like it's like the window itself is like on ground level. And so the slight difference, but that was something I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
And I did like in the anime that he's like sitting in this tree because it just feels very romantic to me. Like
Way more romantic.
Romeo and Juliet.
Mhm.
Basically, Juliet is sitting in the balcony and Romeo climbs up the tree and he's telling her these silly stories like that. One time he was on the sea and he found an island and he stepped on the island only to realize it was goldfish poop. And then he killed the goldfish and he fed it all to the villagers and they're still eating the goldfish to this day. And it makes Kaya laugh and it's very dorky and kind of dad jokey. And to be honest, that is delusional boyfriend material. Somebody who will make a fool of themselves and be kind of silly and dorky just to make you smile.
Mhm.
And this might be the only episode that Usopp is my delusional boyfriend, but I will give it to him. Would I date him IRL?
You married one.
I married an Usopp, but the thing is, I find Usopp like in his coveralls and he has a Pinocchio nose, which I don't love. I do love that he has like he's like a melanated character with kind of an afro, and he is a very unique design, but I just don't know why he needed Pinocchio's nose. That part's confusing to me, and I don't love it. I don't find it super cute because it's
So,
Pinocchio.
so because he lies so much, he has Pinocchio's nose.
I didn't connect the dots. That's so obvious.
That's so funny you didn't connect the dots. It's
Is it
because
because I'm drunk?
no, it's you've never noticed that throughout all of One Piece.
Uh-uh.
And today is the day I get to explain that to you. That because he lies so much, he has a nose like Pinocchio. And he's a he's a fibber. He's a tall tailor. And so he
And Wolfgang is a fibber. Like this is I met a boy. There's family lore about Wolfgang where he didn't want to go to a hockey game when he was little, like 6 or 7 years old. And so he told his grandma, I can't go to the hockey game. I got hit in the head with a hockey puck and I'm not allowed to go anymore.
worked.
And then his grandma went and reamed his mother for allowing him to get a head injury. And his mom was like, he's never had a head injury. He's never been to a hockey game.
In reality, I just don't like sports.
He doesn't like, which is why I married him. And that is kind of the funny thing where like there's a lot of downsides to Usopp's lying where people can't trust him and he's the boy who cried wolf. But also there's some funny parts where it's really just an example of his imagination running wild and this idea that he's so silly that he can kind of make real life a little bit more fun than it is. And so I like that. But I would say I find you a little bit more attractive than I find Usopp and
I hope so.
his coveralls, like he wears overalls and he has a slingshot and all of it just reads as like nerdy boy I would have definitely made fun of in middle school.
He's a Peter Pan type character where he kind of
Yes.
leads the Lost Boys and he kind of tells fibs to get them to go. And like that, as far as costumes go throughout the show, that is the vibe he brings.
Yes. It's definitely like a Peter Pan vibe. And I will say that that's another thing that's not very attractive is he does surround himself with a lot of younger characters who will believe his lies. And it's a little bit creepy.
It's because they're the only person that believes
Of
him.
course.
Is young, delusional book club. No, I'm just kidding. Young delusional characters that will literally follow him because they don't know any better and they haven't learned the realities of the world.
So if we're going to compare our delusional boyfriend from this story to other stories or to the other volumes, and I said my first delusional boyfriend was Shanks, my second delusional boyfriend was Zoro, your first was Shanks, then Buggy, and then you have Yasopp and I have Usopp. Do Yasopp and Usopp even like compare to Buggy and Shanks and Zoro? No.
No, but I mean, also it's funny because the only some similarities between dad and son is that to this day in the manga, Yasop has not seen Usopp, and he even says it all the time. He's like, "I'm just not ready for that."
He's like, I love my son, but I don't need to talk to him.
No, he's like, I'm not ready for this moment yet. Like because he's scared. He is just like his son, but
They're cowards.
in different ways. And like, yeah,
I don't like a coward at all. In fact, I fucking hate cowards. And so anytime a man is even a little bit cowardly, I'm just like, oh, why don't we buck up and actually face our problems head on? Some men are cowardly, and that's that. And like as a woman, I'm not allowed to be cowardly. I have to face all of life's challenges kind of head on.
You've definitely called out a few dudes or two for that.
Exactly. And I think that most women do have to just face their problems. They don't get to lie and run away. If you're a mother, you don't get to run away from your little baby Usopp and say, like, oh, I'm not ready for this challenge. Only a dad has that privilege because basically men are useless and they're allowed to be cowards. And I don't think that we should ever apologize or put up with that. That's just my personal opinion. And yeah, I've drank a little bit. But I will say that with my full chest as somebody who was raised by a single mother, I think women are far more brave than men and I don't like cowardly men. So I like Usopp in this story for being genuinely loving towards Kaya, but I don't love a coward. I don't love that Yasopp is a coward. And I would say that all my delusional boyfriends from One Piece so far definitely beat out Yasopp and Usopp. Would you also agree? Like even Buggy is a villain and he still beats out Yasopp.
Sure. I mean, like I have no hard connection to
Exactly.
Yasub. I just chose him because I think
in this story he was cute.
Sure, but also you just don't see him a lot, and so it's always good to have a good track record of different individuals.
Yes, you're such an even. Our dog, we have a dog named Cusco, and we say he likes to play even because he'll bring the ball to Wolfgang, then he'll bring the ball to me, and he doesn't like to choose favorites. And Wolfgang is kind of like that, where he's going to absolutely choose a different delusional boyfriend because he
I'll
wants.
try. I'll try each week.
Don't sometimes like Zorro is going to be mine over and over again
That's
because that's
okay.
honest.
Well, yeah, but I also
You're like pity. You're like giving them a pity.
no, I like the different. I like a lot of the characters in this, and it's always nice when I get to reread this and be like, oh, you know what? I haven't seen Kaya in a while, which is a great which might be my next week's because Kaya you will only see her three. It's funny because you kind of get a weird checkup on a lot of these characters. You what happens is there's a news service and these seagulls that have these little cute hats will fly around and you kind of follow them in like an episode. It's a filler episode, which these seagulls will fly around and they deliver mail and the news of the world to the different villages. And so you get them going back to Usopp's village and you see Kaya maybe like twice in the whole manga, in the whole show, reading the paper and seeing what Usopp is up to, and it's literally one or two panels that and them just being like, "Wow, that's really cool." Same with Luffy's village. Same with Nami's backstory when we get to there. Zoro's kind of just on his own. You never really get a backstory for him, so it's a whole thing.
Do you feel like Nami, or sorry, do you feel like Kaya and Usopp, do you ship them? Do you feel like they're one? This is what people say.
Endgame.
No, yeah, and people call them one true pairings, OTPs. Do you feel like that's a one true pairing? Usopp will never love anybody as much as he loves Kaya.
Yes,
Yes, that's their ship, and we ship them and we sail them
I
away.
would say it's definitive.
And of course, I love the fan fiction, especially on One Piece of Trash. And if you guys aren't listening to One Piece of Trash, it's such a fun podcast. And the creator Jazzy is such a cool person. But it was really fun to hear like Usopp and Zoro's story. But once I started watching the anime, I was like so dedicated to Kaya and Usopp's story that I didn't want to ship Usopp with anybody, even in a BL ship. So it's Usopp and Kaya for me. And then the other ship in this story is absolutely Buggy and Shanks. And Buggy and Shanks, I think that is a ship that's going to come up over and over and over again, and that a lot of people already feel like is a confirmed couple. Those two have a competitive nature and this rivalry nature and this enemies to lovers, friends to lovers plot line where they're both kind of seeking each other out and trying to kind of find their way back to each other, if only to compete, quote unquote, aka see who's stronger. And in my BL mind, I'm like, yeah, we just need to prove that Shanks is always going to be stronger than Buggy. Buggy is a bottom. Buggy's going to get fucked in the ass, and Shanks is going to enjoy it and tell him what a good boy he is. And like, that's adorable. I absolutely ship them. Do you ship Buggy and Shanks?
Well, I just think they're friends.
You don't think they fuck ever?
No, I think
You're
I mean
joking.
I wouldn't. I mean, like if that's like the only gay couple in One Piece, or like
It's not.
like one of the one of like the main.
It for me it is.
Sure, my point being, if it's like one of the main gay couples in One Piece, I'm not gonna be mad about that. It's like cool because they've been homies since day one. But I also think that they just have a really good. I personally, I think it's a friendship, but like also
Then what's with all that tension? Because Buggy doesn't call it a friendship. Shanks doesn't call it a friendship. They're like at each other's necks, like necking, like giving each other's hickeys. They're like so full of tension. They're not like friends. They're like mean to each other in a way that is very sexy.
no. Buggy is mean to Shanks. Shanks is just undoubtedly like
Just like us. I'm Buggy
wait,
and you're
yeah.
Shanks.
I mean, like Shanks is really cool. Like that's the thing is his vibe is like I don't really like it's actually kind of like me. He's like I really don't care. I just want to have fun, and that's I love you too.
And I do feel like that dynamic is very cute where like Buggy is a little bit resentful that Shanks is more powerful inherently. He's a little bit better off, a little smarter, whatever, has a little easier time with the world. And he is level headed. He has easy emotions. He's very kind. He makes friends easily. And then Buggy on the flip side, Buggy is he is problematic. Like, he pisses people off. He's selfish. He is definitely out for himself, and he ignores kind of the needs of the team. And that makes him unlikable, which makes him bitter against Shanks because Shanks is so likable. And so he keeps trying to compete against him, and there is no competition. Shanks is more powerful. Shanks likes Buggy. Shanks wanted Buggy to be on his crew. And Buggy has like kind of resisted all of this in an effort to prove himself stronger than Shanks for no fucking reason, when in fact he should just bend over and let Shanks give it to him. And I absolutely relate to that kind of dynamic just because.
So you think Shanks is the top?
Absolutely. And also, like, Shanks was born maybe with a silver spoon in his mouth. I don't know where Shanks came from, but he's clearly some kind of pirate.
I do. And
You do. And
and
I have my theory that Shanks is like pirate uh royalty, right? Obviously. He's obviously got,
I'm not gonna say a single thing.
but he's off. Shanks to me obviously has come from like a bloodline of pirates that's very powerful, whereas Buggy is like trying to make it on his own.
Nope.
No, I'm wrong. How wrong am I?
Not a bloodline of pirates, but definitely a powerful bloodline.
So there we have it. And Shanks isn't really trying to prove anything to Buggy. He just wants Buggy to be his friend.
This would be like, what is it, West Side Story? Is that how that goes? Like where it's like a really like someone important. I'm assuming this is what West Side Story is about. West Side Story, you have like someone who's really powerful, and then someone who's maybe from like the ghetto, and then like they kind of get together, and then you make a power couple. If this is what you're describing, that like that would be a beautiful story.
Well, that's like your like
I have no idea if that's what West
you're
Side
from
Story is
your
about.
I don't do you know what's hilarious is we're both huge. I am huge into musicals. And when I met Wolfgang, I was a theater kid and I got him into musicals. I have never seen West Side Story. I know a bunch of the songs from West Side Story, but I've never seen it, and you've never seen it either. So neither of us
Oh,
know
so
the
you
plot.
can't even
I
correct
can't
me?
even correct you. I can't confirm or deny that that's how that goes, but I think you're correct.
Don't blaze me in the comments. Like I don't know, dude. Like I'm just the point I'm making is that like it would be like it would be like a higher tier individual going for a lower tier individual, which is like what kind of romance trope?
It's I don't know. It's basically like the dom. It's kind of like Omegaverse where you have the alpha and then you have the poor indebted Omega, and Buggy's a poor indebted Omega, and Shanks is a powerful alpha, and Buggy keeps trying to prove himself on equal grounds with Shanks, and I do like that dynamic just because you were raised rich and on the right side of the tracks, and I was raised really kind of poor, single mother.
It's honestly like
It's just like that. And so when I think of like Buggy being a brat to Shanks and Shanks kind of loving Buggy and not really having a problem with him being a brat, like Shanks isn't in this competition. It's just Buggy against Shanks, and Shanks loves Buggy. And so it's like a brat dom dynamic to me. I want to read those fanfics. I'm going to go look for those fanfics. And if I can't find them, I will write them. So watch out for that. Is there any other ship in this story that you like?
oh, and this in number 3?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm good.
I don't get any other ships. Like again, Nami and Luffy feel very platonic to me, and I don't. People shipping Nami and Luffy, I don't really get it. So like, explain it to me if you do ship them because I'm not exactly seeing what you're seeing.
That doesn't make
It doesn't make any sense to me.
no.
So with all that being said, this kind of like wraps up the episode. Except for I have a little gift for you to unbox. And did you have something for me? Was it those 3 little boxes?
Yeah, wherever those.
Okay.
I gave you this little thing.
So Wolfgang is a collector of like what do they call with the Kotaro? Like it's
I don't know.
Naruto, but they're little cats.
Yeah, I don't know what it's specifically called, but what it is they make these little cute cats that represent different characters in different animes, and so they have One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Gundam. I have all of them. I like them a lot. I don't have any cats because I'm allergic, but I still very much so like the little cute animals on my bookshelf with all my anime. And they sit perfectly with all my collections and they look great. And I'm like a cat dad. I have like over 20 of them.
And he just got today, which I was really mad he didn't open on air. He got the Buggy cat, and the Buggy cat was so freaking cute.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite ones I've ever had.
In fact, he like kind of screamed with joy. It was adorable. He opened this little blind box like these. And
it never works out for me like that. Right? I want the one that I want, and that was the one that I wanted. It was that in Edward Newgate, aka Whitebeard, and I did not get Whitebeard, but I got Buggy. I'm very happy.
Whitebeard is so hot, and that's the
It's one of my favorite characters.
that's the tattoo on the back of Ace, and there's like a really hot IRL like boxer who has the Whitebeard tattoo on his back. Very sexy. I am really excited to meet Whitebeard in the manga because he's so hot. I'm sure he will be my delusional boyfriend.
Questionable first attempt at his symbol.
You shut up. That boxer has a hot tattoo.
We'll talk. No, we'll talk. No, Oda, when he first drew the symbol, we'll talk about that one later when we get down to that part.
Okay,
Questionable.
let's address it a little bit. Oda several times in this manga uses a symbol that is also used by Nazi Germany and turns into the swastika, but in Eastern Asia, obviously it was a different kind of symbol, and
it represents peace actually,
and
which is interesting because like
in the anime that gets redrawn so that Nami's tattoo originally definitely resembles a swastika, and also Whitebeard's symbol also really resembles that. By the time it gets animated, it's fixed because clearly the importance of that symbol has been kind of overridden historically by Germany. So in the anime, we don't see it like that as much. And Nami's tattoo, like I even considered getting Nami's peach, or it's a tangerine tattoo with like a windmill. And the symbol itself does have a similar shape to a swastika. And so, of course, I will not be getting that, but it is interesting to see that get redrawn as kind of time goes on and people just recognize that there is symbolism that, regardless of your intention, is going to be misconstrued. So cool that they redid that.
They moved forward in the right direction.
Yes, they definitely took the audience's opinion and the kind of general consensus and changed some of those symbols that were a bit off-putting. Okay, with all that being said, I dropped it. I have this gift for Wolfgang. It is another little box figurine, and I think for this one, I didn't have a Usopp figurine, so I think this is a good one to give to you today.
Oh wow, that's really cool. So
it's a Luffy.
Excuse me. It's a Luffy, but specifically interesting. I think that is from Wano, which is the second to latest arc.
I like that one because he looks cute. And sometimes Luffy looks dorky and like kind of derpy. And sometimes Luffy looks kind of jacked and kind of fucking hot. And I'm excited for the manga where like I say Luffy is my delusional boyfriend because I think it's going to come up here soon. He definitely, in this episode, volume 3, there's a couple moments where he has like biceps. And I thought, okay, Luffy's cute. I'm starting to see what other people are seeing here. He definitely has a six-pack abs.
He grows into his body.
Oh, for sure. And then by the time we're in like Gear 5 Luffy.
Thank you so much, though.
You like that one?
Yeah, kind of good.
By the time we're in like Gear 5 Luffy, he is quite cute. Like Joy Boy is what they call him, and he's kind of like a god. Here, scoot over.
She did not want me to grab the boxes.
They're my boxes. Okay.
I got you. When I got you, and
I see this is a cat.
The 2 cat boxes are mine because that's what I collect. But I got her we are a huge Yu Yu Hakusho fan.
So Wolfgang just went to Las Vegas for business and he left me here all alone. And every time he goes away for business, he does come back with a bunch of merch to kind of make it up to me for leaving me. This is a Yu Yu Hakusho blind box, and this was the first anime that got me into anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was after years and years and years of trying to get me to watch anime, Yu Yu Hakusho, once you showed that to me, I was like, oh my gosh, these characters really resonate with me. And this week, actually, is that tomorrow? No, on Thursday, we're going to get a tattoo. I'm going to get a tattoo, and Wolfgang's going with me. And it's the Dragon of Darkness Flame. I don't know. I got Genkai and Jin the last time I did blind boxes for this, so let's see.
And we have Yusuke.
But I'm really hoping for Hiei. Hiei is my favorite character
I don't believe Hiei is in there, but if it's Karasu, that's kind of mine. Because that is one of my favorite characters in all of anime is Karasu.
Yeah, and honestly, the options in this are Genkai, Botan, Yusuke, Jin, Kurosawa, and what's that one? Chagoro. So
Karasu.
Let's see. Genkai.
She got Genkai again.
Is this the exact same Genkai I already have? Then you can have this one in your office because I already have Genkai sitting over there.
This is young Genkai from the Dark Tournament, which I enjoy.
Genkai is one of my favorite characters because she shows as an old lady and sometimes she shows as a young lady, and basically she gave up immortality or looking young forever in order to have a soul and be a good person, whereas the man she fell in love with decided to betray their love and be young forever and be a superhuman and kind of not age in order to be the most powerful demon. And she chose having a soul over that. So I love Genkai.
Winning the Dark Tournament, you get one wish, and her wish was to be left the hell alone.
And
pretty badass wish.
Of course, the man she's in love with, instead of wishing to be with her, he wishes to be the most powerful. And that's why we hate power scalers. And that's why we hate shonen men. And that's why I haven't ever watched or read One Piece, is because men who believe in power over everything, men who believe might is right, are the problem with the world. And that's kind of why I love One Piece. And I'm glad I actually got into it, because Luffy does not believe that might is right. He doesn't believe that the strongest person or the person with the most money should be the most powerful. He believes that we should all live in harmony and we should all pursue our dreams and help the people weaker than us. If they're not able to fight their own fights, we should step in and help them fight those fights if they're in the right. So I think that Luffy is an amazing character.
He's a good role model.
I love him. I definitely love Genkai because she does what's right, and it's heartbreaking when you watch Yu Yu Hakusho and you learn that she was really in love with this man who betrayed her. And I think that's one of the reasons that I got into anime was this was a delusional boyfriend. Toguro from, and we're not opening that right now. Toguro from Yu Yu Hakusho is very hot until he becomes monstrous and his muscles are like way too big. And he kind of shows that like the power scalers in this community who only believe in like getting more and more powerful and like being the best in the world, they turn from like hot guys with a lot of power who could protect you into the most nasty villain monster you can imagine. So I like that Genkai doesn't fall for that, and she'd rather be alone than be in love with a monster.
Yeah, she was in love with Toguro before that, and they shared some moments together, and then he ruined it.
Yeah, he ruined it. And it's very realistic. You have to support the middle. It's very realistic representation, because I think men oftentimes are inclined to ruin everything good in the world, and they have to be reminded by a woman that that's not very important. In fact, what is important is protecting people weaker than you and creating communities, not being, only out for yourself. So I love that about them. Now, here are two cat figures. And are these both Naruto?
No, they're One Piece.
They're both One Piece? Okay, look, here's
so technically Monkey. She has a chance to pull Buggy.
Again? If I pull Buggy, is that the same Buggy you already pulled today?
Yeah, you may have him.
Okay, then I get to have him. But there's also, there's
So what I am hoping for is that she pulls Edward Newgate, because I need that.
So in here we have Luffy and we have Ace.
Ace would be nice.
Buggy, Shanks, Beckman.
What I need is Shanks and Edward Newgate.
You have Izu?
I don't have him. I don't have a lot.
Do you have Marco?
I have Marco.
Here, you open one. I'll open another.
No, you open.
No. Here, it'll go faster this way.
Sure.
Here, go.
I enjoy. Those are the two I want. I want Shanks and I want Whitebeard.
Shanks. Oh wait, is Newgate Whitebeard?
Yes.
Okay, ready? Here, go. No. At the same time, ready? Like this? No, up further. By the camera and go. Who'd I get?
I got Edward Newgate.
I got Shanks.
No, you didn't.
No, I did. That's Shanks. Sick.
There's literally hope in this world, guys. If you just believe.
We have no luck. We play like every time we go to Vegas, we have no luck. This is the best day ever. Especially after pulling 2 Genkais. I love Genkai, but this is actually the dream. Look at Shanks. Okay, hold on. So Shanks was both of our delusional boyfriends in the first episode. And honestly, he's going to be my delusional boyfriend again because he's such a cutie patootie. We love Shanks. And in this one, look, so Shanks has 3 scars on his eye, and he has the original straw hat that he gives Luffy. Look at this little cat. I will, if you follow our TikTok, I will post a video of Wolfgang with all of his cats because he really does have like 30 of these. I'm so happy.
It's so sick because his mustache is like half of his body. It's so sick.
Can you guys see this?
He just
Okay.
has a really sick mustache.
So this is the white beard. Wish you could see it better, but he's so white.
As is it, as is it in his name.
There we go. There we go. Now you can see him a little better. Anyways, he's got a big old white beard,
It's a
and
mustache.
he has a tattoo on his back.
No, that's his jacket. But yeah, that's the clean version.
This is so stinking cute. Okay, so we got. What if we made them kiss?
Please stop.
I love them. That's so cute. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for being here. If you're not already watching our YouTube, please go subscribe to us on YouTube and you can see all these little figurines that we're talking about and see us open up some of these boxes on here. If you are listening on the podcast apps, thank you so much. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening. And if you're on the podcast apps, turn on auto downloads. So that way, if we do any bonus content, it's immediately delivered to your library. It also really helps the podcast just to be able to show how many downloads we have.
Name of that Shanks cat.
You want the little Shanks?
I want to see him.
Oh, he's so cute. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening. This is like the most fun journey we can go on, actually diving even deeper into One Piece than the anime with 1,100 episodes, going into the manga. We really get to like kind of sparse out these characters a little bit better and pause on the panels that we think are cute. And it's so fun being able to do that with listeners out there who might also be on their One Piece journey. If you guys did start One Piece just so you could read along with us, I'm so happy to be doing this together. I feel like we're all on a little pirate ship and we're creating our own crew. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Wolfgang, for joining me and for being the best husband in the world. And next month, or I guess next week, we'll be reading volume 4. And we really hope you guys join us for that.
I have to go find that one.
Yeah, we don't own volume 4 yet. And I think we are going to buy like a full collection as much as we can because there are a lot of box sets of One Piece. There's some omnibuses, but we're pretty dedicated to buying the single volumes, which will take up a ton of space on our bookshelf. But since we already have these ones, they're quite cute. And we don't have a ton of omnibuses anyways of other collections. So I think we are going to continue collecting these. If you guys are collecting the manga, let us know. Are you collecting the omnibus? Are you collecting single editions? And how are you going to display them? Because at the end of the day, we are going to have 100 manga just to One Piece. And by the end of this year, we'll have 50 volumes. At the end of this year, we will have 50 freaking volumes read and collected. And I don't know where we're going to put them.
Oh, I mean, I'll put them on my bookshelf. But
your bookshelf's already full.
Yeah.
We're going to have to find somewhere else to display them.
What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take out one entire Lord of the Rings section.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to go onto Amazon, order those high risers. And so I'm going to have one row,
double shelf,
and then another row. And then above that, I'm going to have to take out all my D&D books and then do the same thing.
I think so. We are definitely going to start a family sometime like this year. And I was considering, we have this upstairs bedroom and it's really cute. And it was built in the 40s and it has some like hidden rooms. And we were thinking about having a friend of ours do some murals in there where basically we have like Nami's treasure chests are the built-in dresser drawers. And then Robin's what do you call those? Robin's ruins, where we have this secret closet basically that was like actually a Nazi like a Jewish hideaway from the Nazis if they ever came to America. The Austrian who built this house, he built these hideaway closets. So we were going to make that like Robin's ruins and then have Boa's closet full of her fashionable stuff and Zoro's armory and Sanji's kitchen and have like a little kid's kitchen. So I think it would be fun if we just in the upstairs room where the kids eventually will go, like if we are able to have kids and can get that family built, then I think that upstairs bedroom would be really cute if we made it all One Piece themed and then just put on like up at the top of the wall.
So they can't reach it?
Yeah. So they can't reach it. Our One Piece collection. So I think that's what we'll do. And if you guys follow us, obviously we will show as we start decorating that room, the like nursery or the kids' room or whatever, and we'll show how that's going to go. But I think growing up, if you're a kid in a pirate themed bedroom, that would be, quit looking at Shanks. You're so obsessed with it.
Just grab my wood. I'm ready to put them on my collection.
But I think that would be a really cute thing if you're growing up to like have a themed bedroom like that. So maybe we'll start putting all of our One Piece stuff in there. And I hope you guys follow along. If you aren't already following us on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, go follow us there so you can see all of our lifestyle and couples content as well. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, remember, sometimes the delusion
Is the solution.
Bye.
See you guys.
This is fun.